Love him or hate him, Dan Bilzerian is a very successful guy. He's a playboy. He's 45. He has 30 million followers on Instagram. He's worth over 200 million in net worth. And apparently he slept with over 1,000 women. Okay. So, like I said, love him or hate him, you can still have some takeaways from the things that he's said throughout his interviews. And in this video, I'm going to share the 10 best things that he's said in his interviews to help you improve your life and your dating game. All right, if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Kane. I'm the Silver Bachelor, and this channel is 100% dedicated to dating advice for older guys and the women that want to understand them. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, hit that subscribe button and the notification button because I'm dropping videos every week. Oh, yeah. All right, let's get into this. So, Dan Bilzerian, yes, like I mentioned, playboy, gambler, professional gambler, worth over 200 million, slept with over 1,000 women, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to keep going on about that. And there's always something you can take from someone that has success, okay? This channel is based on dating advice for older guys. So I thought, well, this guy's a playboy. He slept with lots of women, successful. There's got to be some key things that he said. And yes, so I'm going to cover the 10 things that he said along the way that is not just about dating, but also to help you level up your own personal life. Okay, getting into this, number one, and I'm looking at all my notes because I did some research for you guys and I want to make sure I don't miss anything. Number one, money doesn't buy happiness. Okay, that's kind of duh, but here's the key thing. It buys freedom. And freedom is everything. And here's the thing. Freedom is the reason why men stay in sexless marriages. And you might be thinking, what do you mean freedom? The lack of freedom. Okay. Men stay in sexless marriages because they don't want to pay the price. The price is heavy. And the best thing that any man, if you're watching this, if you're in a sexless marriage, is your freedom is worth everything, and pay that price, because freedom is the only thing that's ever going to give you peace. And my heart goes out to the guys that are in a sexless marriage, because I was as well. And I was married for 20 years, and most of those years were sexless. And I have no regrets about paying the price to get out of that and have my freedom. Number two, he said, I don't live for approval. I live for experience. This one is huge. Many of you watching are sensitive to what people think about you. I struggled with that. And in fact, I even struggled with that when I first started my YouTube channel. You know, when something I've never said in any of my videos, and I'm going to say it here, is the amount of hate that I got on my videos when I first started. Man, the comments were vile. They were nasty, 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 nasty. And the wild thing is, once I ticked past 25,000 subscribers, I almost never get any hateful comments anymore. And at first it hurt, right? At first I was like, oh, damn, this sucks. People really are freaking not nice. And I attribute that to the crab theory. Not crab theory, or crab, I think it's crab theory. Anyways, this is wild. This is one of the few species in the world that does this. Imagine you put a bunch of crabs in a bucket. Well, it's pretty easy for them to actually climb out if they work together, right? One climbs onto another and another, and they can get out. Nope, that's not how crabs are. You know what crabs do? Crabs pull the other crab down. They're like, oh, hell no, you're not leaving. You're not getting anywhere. They pull the other crab down. And humans, there's a group of humans out there, trolls, whatever you want to call them, that they're exactly like that. The negative Nancy's, right? They will pull you down because they don't have that success and they don't want you to be successful. So don't live for approval and live for experience. I love that. Number three, if you're not willing to risk everything, you don't deserve anything. Ooh, okay. I'm not going to risk everything. Like this, Dan's a gambler, okay? I'm not a gambler, and I'm not going to put all my chips in on the hope that I win that and I'm going to lose everything. But I understand where he's coming from in terms of risk, and a lot of us could do a better job and taking more educated risks. Number 4, he said, comfort is the enemy of men, right? And listen to this in terms of comfort. I cannot believe this. I was in an Uber recently and the driver was 60 and he was telling me that he still plays video games. There's nothing wrong with video games, but the video game that he played, I used to play and I stopped playing it. That's World of Warcraft because it was time sucking and that game's amazing. But he told me that he plays like religiously and that the day before, so he was picking me up on a Sunday and Saturday he said he played all day and I'm thinking, "Really? Really? This is how you're spending your time? You are playing video games for hours and hours and hours?" And this is an example of comfort. Video games are a fucking waste. Dude, look, I know you might be thinking, well, Silver Bachelor, it's a little harsh. No, no, they're a fucking waste of your time. You're not contributing to humanity. You're not making money. You're not help bettering yourself physically. And this dude spends countless hours playing video games. I understand once in a while. Okay, cool, it's fun. But this is what I mean about comfort. Comfort also can mean that men getting in this comfort place where they're eating like shit, they don't go to the gym. They're lazy. They're not putting in the work. And then they wonder why they don't have enough options when it comes to dating. Okay. And I hate to be a little blunt about it, but it's true. You want to be better at dating. You want to meet more attractive women. You have to put in the work. You have to put in the work up here and you have to put in the work physically and you got to put in the work to make more money. Okay. Those are the 3 things you have to do in order to be more successful with women, meet more beautiful women and higher value women. So I like what he said there. Comfort is the enemy of men. Number 5, women are attracted to men who live life on their own terms. Ooh, yeah, this one I love. This is all about bad boys. Women love the bad boy. They don't want good men. They don't want nice guys. They want men who live life on their own terms and don't give a fuck. They just do whatever they want to do. Have you seen Dan before? Go check him out on Google. You see what he looks like. He shaves his head like this. He's basically got like a mullet kind of mohawk kind of deal with a beard. He's not the most groomed at all, but he's like, fuck it. I like my hairstyle like this. I like to shave the sides and rock an 80s look, right? I love that. Number 6, he said, I'd rather live one wild life than a safe, boring one. Yeah, a lot of men I know can relate to this because most of us are living a safe life. We want that pension. We want that retirement. We want the benefits, blah, blah, blah. And that's why I encourage you guys, hey, don't drop the 9 to 5, but have hobbies that can at least give you that spark and that fire to live on the wild side a little bit more. And a lot of guys I hear in marriages, they don't even go out on dates with their wives, and their wives are seeking that unpredictable fun that they're now missing in the marriage. And then it's no wonder a lot of these women start to check out of their relationship because the guy's fucking boring. All right, number 7, status changes how people treat you instantly. Ooh, yeah, this one is big. And when status, you might be thinking, no, man, this only applies to successful people. Look, okay, you don't have to be a doctor. You don't have to be a lawyer. You don't have to be a pilot. You don't have to have millions of dollars to have status. You can have what I call perceived status or social status, okay? If I've spoken about this many times in my videos, if you're a DJ, you're a bartender, you drive Uber, and I know that sounds crazy, but in that environment where a woman's relying on the guy to bring her home, there are so many Uber drivers who have told me that women have tried to pick them up, give them their number, wanting them to sleep with them that night and that. So they have status. Or maybe you were asked to be a guest speaker about some topic. You're doing a TEDx. You're an influencer on social media, right? When I tell people I have this YouTube channel and they find out how many subscribers I have, automatically they're like, oh, this guy, I want to get to know this guy, right? That happens to me naturally. Or one of the things I've spoken about many times in my videos is peacocking. If you wear a ridiculous shirt, a hat, whatever, and it's in your face, It's a gold sequence blazer. You look like John Travolta from the 70s. You've got a cowboy hat. Doesn't matter. You walk into a room and all of a sudden you're now the most interesting man in that room. And that is perceived social status. Women will look at men like that and they go, that motherfucker, that takes balls to wear that. So he must be of high status. Again, this is perceived. So status changes how people treat you instantly is true. And it doesn't matter. You could walk up to a hotel concierge and you've got the gold sequence shirt on and they think, oh, this guy is a baller. So I like what he said about that. Number 8, rules are for people who are afraid to fail. Yeah, that is true. We are all guilty of making rules for ourselves because we don't want to fail. And failure is just part of the game. And one of these days, I'll do a video on my journey of how I got to this point with this YouTube channel. But I definitely had failures along the way. Imagine this. You're all excited to start your new hobby, create a new YouTube channel, and you're posting videos every day, right? That's how I started. My first year, 7 videos a week, every day. And the first few months in, I'd get like 10 views in the month, 12 views in a month. Even to this day, sometimes some of my videos don't get very many views. It is what it is. Just like Netflix. Netflix, not everything is a success that Netflix puts out as a new movie or new series, but Netflix is creating content. They're constantly putting out content. So people are naturally afraid to fail, and you are going to fail. You're going to trip. It's going to look nasty at first. That's just the way it is. It just does get better. All right, number 9, moving along. Oh, yeah. This one is my favorite one, and that is nobody remembers the guy who played it safe. Okay. And I'm going to give you an example from one of my favorite movies, and that's Troy with Brad Pitt, where he was Achilles, the warrior. Oh, yeah. That movie was fucking awesome. Okay. So if you've seen that movie, there's a part where, there's going to be a battle. And then the one side says, hey, bring out your best guy and I'll bring out my best guy. Whoever wins the battle. Okay, basically. And Brad Pitt, this boy is running to get Brad Pitt because he's Achilles and he's the best warrior on that one side. And he's sleeping and he's got 3 chicks lying with him. He's like, ugh, because he was drinking the night before or whatever. And so the little boy says to him that Achilles, this is the biggest man I've ever seen. I wouldn't want to fight him. That's what the little boy says to Achilles as Achilles is getting on his horse. And Achilles looks at the little boy and he said, that's why no one will remember your name. That scene right there, that hit me big time because it's true. Nobody remembers the guy who played it safe. And this is also tied into the peacocking thing. If you want to go out to a party, it's a networking function, I challenge you, wear something out there, wear something ridiculous because people will remember you. For example, I was asked to DJ a Christmas party, my 9 to 5, right? I'm a marketing executive, and they asked me to travel to the head office, DJ the Christmas party. And it was a white theme. So people were to dress in white. They didn't say which era. So I decided to go completely ridiculous. I dressed up as basically John Travolta with an afro and platform heels. And it was pretty cool costume, actually. And guess what? I got a message today, time of this video, publishing it, I got a message from the HR director, and people are still talking about me as the DJ and what I wore and how awesome that was. And it's just a point that you wear something that people will remember you by instead of playing it safe. It's much better ultimately. All right, last tip, and thanks for sticking around this long. Number 10, life is about leverage, money, power, and options. And this is what you do with life. When you start to get some success, you see how you can leverage that success for other things, right? So for example, I have 8 brand sponsors on this YouTube channel, which is amazing. But that's the good news. The bad news, it started off with basically not making any money from this brand sponsor. One of my first brand sponsors was paying me like just a little bit. But I didn't look at it like, oh no, my time is worth this and I need to make more money and all that stuff. I thought, know what? No, I'll get this one brand sponsor and I'll leverage that to help me get the next one. I'll leverage that to help me get the next one, the next one, the next one. So leverage is so important in life, and that's how we end up ultimately having success. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching this video, but I want to hear from you in the comments what you think, and we'll see you next time.